Welcome to more tales. Am I the a-hole for disowning my parents after they chose everyone but me? Throwaway account, and my English writing is really bad. Please bear with me. So I, 28F, am 30 weeks pregnant with my first child and am about to move to another state. My mom has this thing where she takes care of my siblings when they give birth until they recover. She has done it for my older sister and my brother's wife, so I thought that she would do the same thing for me too. But a week ago, she casually told me that she couldn't come because it is too far away. We got into a huge fight about the whole thing. The utter shock and betrayal hit me so hard that I told her to get out of my house immediately, and now we are not talking at all. Before you judge me and say that my mom isn't obligated to take care of me, I will tell you that it isn't about mom taking care of me. It was never about that. I am that one child in the family who nobody really cares about. My parents always claim that they love and treat us all equally, but man, is it obvious that they love me a little bit less than the others. I am the third out of 5 children. My younger siblings are twins, so they naturally consumed every ounce of remaining attention in the house. Growing up, I felt so completely invisible and isolated that I always thought maybe I was adopted, and that's why they didn't care about me that much. Well, I was wrong because a DNA test confirmed I am 100% theirs. It is always about how my other siblings are doing or how mom and dad are suffering, but it is never about me. It was never about me from the beginning. I am rarely celebrated, even if it is supposed to be my day. My birthdays? They were rarely celebrated because mom and dad conveniently forgot, or they just threw whatever leftover snacks were in the house onto a table and called it a birthday. My high school graduation party? Nope. My parents claimed they had already wasted a lot of money on my big brother's college graduation party, so they couldn't afford to do anything for mine. But they solemnly promised, "We will make sure to make it up to you later." Do you think that ever happened? I will give you a minute or two. If you guessed no, then congrats, you guessed right. Yay! When my older siblings got married, my parents happily chipped in and shared a massive chunk of their wedding expenses. But when it came to my big day, "Since your husband comes from a good family, we don't have to share wedding expenses." Those were their exact words, said directly to my face without an ounce of shame. Throughout my whole life, I have always been the unpaid therapist who had to sit quietly and listen to my mom and dad's rough day. I was always the one forced to help mom with heavy house chores because my older siblings allegedly had too much schoolwork to do, or because my younger twin siblings were too young to do that kind of work. They always told me that I was such a good, quiet, obedient daughter, but I was never the child they bragged about to their friends. I did everything in my power to make them proud. I kept my head down, got good grades, and stayed out of trouble, but my achievements were always treated as entirely below my siblings. I have tried to sit them down and talk to them about how left out I feel multiple times before, but the only thing I ever received in return was a harsh scolding about how ungrateful and spoiled I was being. I hated my life until I finally moved out of that house, but I never had the courage to truly let go of them, foolishly holding on to the hope that they would change once I grew up. Well, my mom just proved me dead wrong. Mind you, my older sister lives a whole ass ocean away from us on another continent. When my sister gave birth, my mom didn't hesitate for a single second. She decided that booking a 10-plus-hour international flight to another continent twice was not hard at all. She happily packed her bags, flew across the world, and spent weeks pampering her and cooking for her. But now, all of a sudden, taking a simple 4-hour drive to my new home is somehow far too much of a burden, especially when I am moving to a completely new place where I don't know anyone except my husband. I am so fucking tired of them putting everyone else above me. Sitting on my couch, holding my pregnant belly, and watching my mom brush me off while making endless excuses made something inside me completely snap. The realization that I will always be their last priority hit me like a ton of bricks. So I will make things right between us until I leave because I don't want to end things on a bad note while packing up my current place. But as soon as I get to my new house in the new state, I will just cut all contact between us permanently. I don't think that I have the energy to do all of this crap anymore. I refuse to bring my baby into a dynamic where they witness their mother being treated like an afterthought, or worse, where my child is loved less than their cousins. Besides, I have my lovely husband with me, so I will be alright and build myself a new family where I am truly appreciated and loved for who I am. Update. Hello. First, I would like to thank everyone for their kind advice. I was honestly shocked when I saw all of these messages. I really appreciate it. A lot has happened since my last post. I tried to call my parents, but they blocked me and I couldn't reach them. Even so, I was determined to get the closure that the younger version of me had wanted for so many years. I called my older brother and asked if we could meet up to talk about everything. He immediately refused. According to him, after what I had done to our mother, he wanted nothing to do with me. He spent most of the call telling me I was ungrateful and that our mom was under a lot of stress because of me. I told him it wasn't fair for him to decide I was the villain without even listening to why I was hurt. He grew up in a completely different position than I did. He knew I was expected to help around the house, listen to everyone's problems, and put everyone else's needs first, yet he acted like none of that mattered. The conversation only got worse. He insisted our parents treated all of us equally and called me a narcissist who only cared about herself. I couldn't get another word in before the call ended. For a while I questioned myself. Hearing those accusations from someone I'd known my entire life made me wonder if I had somehow exaggerated everything. Thankfully, my husband reminded me why this all started in the first place. He wasn't telling me what to do. He simply pointed out that I wasn't asking for special treatment. I had only expected the same care my siblings had already received. A couple of days later, my dad called and asked me to come over. His tone sounded calmer than before, so I agreed. Part of me thought this might finally be an honest conversation where everyone could clear the air. My husband came with me for support. When we arrived, I realized it wasn't just my parents. My brother and his wife were already there. My dad started by saying how disappointed he was with me and how things should never have reached this point. I agreed that they shouldn't have, but I explained that my disappointment didn't begin with this pregnancy. It had been building for years. I reminded them that my mom traveled across the world to help my sister after she gave birth, yet a 4-hour drive to see me was suddenly too much. I talked about the birthdays that were forgotten, the celebrations that never happened, and always feeling like I came last. None of it changed anything. My husband was ready to speak, but I asked him not to. Everyone took turns explaining why I was wrong. No one acknowledged what I had said. Eventually, my dad asked if I had anything else to say to my mom. I apologized because I didn't want us to end on hatred, but she stayed silent. My dad said we all needed time apart and better boundaries, and the conversation ended there. In the next 2 weeks, we were packing and leaving the state. I didn't tell anyone where my new house would be. Once we got there and settled down, I wrote one final message explaining everything they had done, how it affected me, and why I could no longer keep chasing people who never made room for me. At the end of the message, I told them I was completely cutting contact with my parents and my older brother. I changed my phone number and blocked all of my family from my social media. And you know what? My life has never been this peaceful in a long time. I am happy about everything, and my baby will arrive any day now. It is honestly stressing, but I love it so much. We hired a helper around the house because why not? Now my day consists of sleep, take a walk, eat some more, have back and hip pains, and repeat, which honestly isn't that bad. Thank you for visiting More Tales.